Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a video to talk about the topic of the week initiated by Vince Venturella. This time he wants to talk about a hobby tip, something that we had to use, something that will nice to share, and we are proud of that. And I'm going to talk about doing banners. So today most of the miniatures, especially from Games Workshop, that have to have a banner, they have a plastic banner, like this is Caven. So this is not a problem today, and most of the times it's not a problem for the armies today. But in the past, most of the miniatures that should have a banner didn't have a banner on them. So you had to do your own banner from zero. Sometimes, and then here I will explain some different ways to do your banner and some historical ways how I did the banners for my miniatures. And then you will see 3 different ways you can use to make your banners and pick the one that is suiting best to you. So the first thing that they did in the past, and we are talking about before the starter kit of the Bretonians, so it was about around the 90s. In the army books, we used to have arm banners that can be printed, and then you use them to put on your miniatures. So this is a very old miniature. This is a stone vermin metal one, really old one. And here we see it's a paper banner. So this was how all the banners were done in the past, and I'm not changing that. This is some of the heritage of the past. So you see, well, the painting was not great, and here I did. But this is one of the first banners I ever did, and was just printing or making a copy of the page where you have all the banners from the Skaven, and then you cut and glue. And I had some color because at that period most of the printers were only white and black, so you had to put the color yourself, and I think was painted with markers. But that was not the only way at this period. Some of the kits have banners that were glued to the miniature, so these were printed by Games Workshop. These were coming together in the kit, and you have to glue it. Was an auto-adhesive banner. Of course, after time you see that the banner is losing color, it's not stable. I still have the bright colors on the horse, but not the same bright colors on the banner. The green especially have been lost. So this is another way that we did banners. Then, building up on this technique, I did my own banners of paper. And then what I do is I paint this on paper, and then I glue it on the miniature. So this was the first way I did banners. And yeah, you can imagine when you have to do all your Bretonians from the previous editions and they didn't have the banner on the lance, and they should have the pendant. So how you do the pendant lance without the pendant? So you need to use your imagination, and I was using paper to do my own banners. Okay, so these are the first technique. Just use paper to do your own banners. It's working well because it's very thin. Of course, it's paper, but have its own limitations. So yeah, it's very fluffy, and yeah, especially the ones that are auto-adhesive are ungluing after time, so it's a little bit painful. So the next technique I started using was using thin metal plate from drinking cans. So this is also very thin, and this is a metal plate. So listen, this is a metal plate from a Coke can or something like that. So I use this on some of my miniatures. So you see, this was my all BSB for Bretonia. I also use this technique for this Dog of War banner. So here the technique is quite straightforward. You take a can. Even with the normal scissors, you will break the scissors after time, but with the scissors, you cut the can in the shape you want and you paint it. Okay. The big problem is especially the inside of the can, they have some lacquers and paints that make them very difficult to paint. So the first layers are very difficult to catch on the can. So you need to prime with something that is, you need to prime it very well to make the paint to be able to paint on top of the metal. So that it was, normally I use aluminum cans for that. So this was another technique. And the last one I use green stuff. And then I use a technique where you get your green stuff, you mix it with flour, and you mass the green stuff like it was the mass or the how it's called this. It's like if you're massing a pizza or you're massing a cake. So I take the tools for baking and I do that. This was one of the first banners, didn't work as well as I expected, was very thick in some of the areas, but is not much thicker than the plastic banner. And then here you have much more freedom on shapes. You can compare, it's less rigid. Here you have some waving, but you are so limited on the waving you can do. Here you have really a lot of freedom of space. I have a tutorial and I put the link below to not repeat how to do these banners. This was one of the first banners I ever did with green stuff. But then when you start improving your technique, I start doing small banners like this one. Also for champions on the unit. This is very typical from Space Marines. Okay, very thin banners. And you can also use this type of banners for Norio that are looking like breaking down. This will be impossible with the can plate. So yeah, this was one of the ways to do it. More examples. I want to show you some more examples. Here we have a Bretonian example. Look how nice and wavy is this banner when you do it with green stuff. So really this technique is consuming much more time because you have to do the banner, let it dry, and then paint it on top, but it's giving more freedom on shapes. So here I will show you the different techniques. Paper, what you call this, green stuff, aluminum plate. Sorry, it's not running out of space here. Okay. One of the last banners that I did was for the King of Britannia, Llewellyn Core. Look, if you do it well, whole thing can be also with green stuff. So this was one of the latest banners I did. I didn't did a lot of crazy wavering because I want to show the colors of the banner. So I wanted to make it look and to show all the colors. So, but you can go as crazy as you want. And then I use the same technique to do some other things, because once you have this thin green stuff, then you can use to make clothes. So I use very little in that way, but this is one of the conversions I'm most proud about. This is a standard Space Marine. So this is just a standard tube of the Space Marines that I wanted to convert, or to do the conversion into a Nargle sorcerer. So to cover the front and to cover the eagle, I use this. When I mold this, I have some extra green stuff, and I use the same to put this cloth on top of him. Okay, this was done a lot of time ago. Then I also use green stuff to add some other elements, and I use a lot of Skaven stuff. You see that these are Skaven heads. to make the back part. So, but yeah, so the same technique, and this was really a theme banner too. So you see with green stuff, check the link below. I will not repeat here how I do that. Mainly you make like you mix the green stuff with some flour, and then you manipulate like with a roll to make it thinner. So you roll on top like if you are doing pizza thing for the pizza, but you roll it very thin, very thin, very thin, and the more you roll it, you have to be careful not to break it. And then when you have rolled it and you have a big piece, with the scissors you cut it to the shape that you want. You give the shape, you let it dry for about 24 hours or 48 hours, and once this dries you can paint on top of that. In that case, for example, I let it dry just on top of the banner directly. Some cases normally you can let it dry together with this rod, so glue it together to the part that that is holding the banner. Or in some cases I just do it out of the miniature. So this was one of the cases that I did. I glued it later on after painting. This was one of the first banners I ever did. This is one of the banners of the. In that case, for example, I didn't glue the lines, so I let it dry. I fold it on the lines, I cut it, I do the right shape, and then I let it dry before I do any paint job. You see, it's smooth, it's quite rigid, it's looking well. It's a little bit fragile. The main drawback of these banners are more fragile than the template of the paper banners, especially when they get very dry, because they will get drier and drier and drier over time. So yeah, this is my tip. I hope you find it interesting, and if you want to know more about how to do these banners, please click in the link below. I will put the link, and then you can check how to do this with a video tutorial that I did a lot time ago when I started with this channel. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to contact me. So Vince, this is my tip of the week. Thanks a lot for putting this topic this week. And yeah, if you're interested to know more topics about the hobby, click on the link where Vince will post all the video response. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and see you again later. Bye.